Hello everybody, I am in Austria today with some cows, with some mountains, and I'm going for a hike. Who would have thought? But today, I want to talk to you guys about something that has been weighing heavy on my mind. And that is this trip I'm on. This trip is, if you don't know, I'm spending 3 months in Europe backpacking, and I started in Rome, went to Florence, went to the coast of Italy, got stung by a jellyfish, then I went to Switzerland, hiked in the Alps, stayed in huts, or hutas, and now I'm in Austria, right outside of Innsbruck, if you know where that is. And I'm enjoying my trip a lot, but I also find myself at times not enjoying myself whatsoever. And I think I'm coming to realize something I've always known, but something I've yet to understand. And that's what experience teaches us. You know, Leonardo da Vinci said, knowing isn't enough. We must act. We must learn through experience. Because only through experience do we truly understand. And memorization is stupid, to say the least. Understanding is what matters. Understanding is what the future is going to be built upon. Memorization in a world of AI and the internet is useless. But understanding that is wisdom. And I'm starting to understand truly how, you know, problems are not a bug. You know, Chris Williamson talks about bugs and features, and problems are not bugs, they are features. And just because you quit your job and start your business, or just because you give up an addiction that has been holding you back, or just because you start paying off credit cards because you're in debt, doesn't mean that you immediately have all your problems solved. You know, maybe your biggest problem is solved, but there'll always be problems. You solve a problem and a new problem just takes its place. And that's something I'm truly starting to understand. For even in the Swiss Alps, I feel like I have problems. Even in Austria, around cows and wildlife, I feel like my problems are so real, so heavy, and so insurmountable. But the knowledge of knowing and understanding that problems are a feature of life and not a bug can help you overcome this so much. It can help you understand that truly we don't experience life. We experience the life we focus on. Now, right now, I could sit here and focus on the fact that I'm 22 years old and I'm unemployed, and I don't know what I want to do after this trip. And I mean, it's a Tuesday and all I'm doing is hiking a mountain. and I can let that ruin this experience. Or I can realize and understand that, you know, some of the richest people in the world, the people who know what they want to do with their lives, are doing it, who have done it, who have financial freedom, they want one thing, and they want their youth back, something that I have. And they don't just want their youth, they want a youth back where they go and travel the world, where they go and do things that they want to do, where they go and live a life true to themselves, where they try, even though it's scary. That's what they want. And if I can focus on that, then I can be extremely happy that I'm doing that, doing the thing that some people I see who I envy are envious of me. And that's why envy is the saddest of the deadly sins. Because you can walk by somebody who you look at and you say, wow, you know, they got it all. I'm so envious of them. I'm so envious of him. Like this cow, you know, he just chills out all day, eats grass and has a pretty nice view and, you know, eats, poops, sleeps, you know, but that cow can also be envious of me. And, you know, that wasn't really the example I wanted to make, but there was just a cow right there. But, you know, there can be rich people that you're envious of, but they're envious of your youth. And long story short, it's up to you to focus. It's up to you what you focus on, what you apply your attention to. Are you going to apply it to the good, or are you going to apply it to the bad? Because everyone has good and everyone has bad in their life. But the people who are happy, the people who are optimistic, are the people who focus more on their goods while not denying that there are bads, but just understanding that worrying and dwelling on these things do not help. And I also want to talk on or speak on how we save money. Because on this trip, you know, I've been penny pinching, and not to say that I don't have to penny pinch, but I really don't. And I've been penny pinching by trying to stay at, you know, cheap hostels, which has been good. But I like hostels because you meet people, but I've been penny pinching in the fact of not staying in places I want to stay because it's $30 more, or not eating a meal I want to eat because it's $5 more. But mostly on the accommodation, because I left Switzerland because it was pretty expensive, and the stuff I wanted to do, I wanted to go and hike hut to hut in the Alps, and it was like $120 to stay in a hut, you know, breakfast and dinner included. And let's just say I can swing that for a couple months. And, you know, I thought, no, it's too much money. You know, I can stay in hostels in, you know, Vienna for, you know, $30 a night. But I don't like cities. So I've been not been ruining, it's been a great trip, but I'm on the verge of spending my trip doing things that I simply don't want to do just to save a couple $1,000s. And this is kind of where the rich person thing came into my head, because all they want is their youth back, and they give up all their money in the world to do it. And I have my youth, and I have the money to do the things that I want to do. But a part of me is just, but I could put that in the S&P 500 and, a Roth IRA, and, then when I'm 65, I'll be rich. But everyone seems to think 65 is a guarantee. And not just a guarantee, but a guarantee with the same health physically and mentally. But these things are not guarantees. You will decline. And why must we save our money for our worst years? Now, I don't want to sit on here and act as if you should just, quit your job, go blow all your money, and then, see what happens. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that the people who are where you want to be, you are where they want to be. And they don't care about money. And yeah, that might be because they have enough money. But it also might be because they realized that money solved none of their problems other than financial problems. And in a world like we live in today, financial problems are first world problems. Even the poorest in most countries, in most situations, have food and water. Even the poorest people live to 80. Even the poorest people love life and have families and cherish every minute. But really my point is just, I always have at least one slip in a video where I'm hiking. But the point I'm really trying to make is really to just trust your heart, follow your dreams, and you never know what this decision you're about to make will lead to. You may pick up $100 on the side of the street and, put it in your pocket. And then 5 minutes later, someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I dropped a $100 bill. Do you see it? Have you seen it?" And you can either be honest or you can lie. And say if you're honest and you give it back, and it was a social experiment, and then they give you $1,000. In the moment, it seemed like you were gonna miss out on $100. But by doing the right thing, by trusting your heart, by doing what you know was right, in the end, you ended up gaining $1,000. And I think that's how we have to live our lives. And in case you cared, I've decided to change my whole trajectory for this trip. I no longer want to bounce from city to city because I don't like cities. So I'm gonna spend the extra money and I'm gonna go hut to hut with a 30-pound backpack packed for city travel. I'm gonna have to go buy hiking pants because I didn't bring any, because it's the summer, but stupid me forgot that it rains in the mountains, it snows in the Alps, and I probably should have pants. But yeah, I'm gonna change my trip around. It's gonna be more expensive, but I think I'll be able to when I go home, I won't have to smile and lie that I enjoyed my Europe trip when I know I could have enjoyed it so much more if I just listened to my heart and spent the extra money. On my deathbed, I don't think I'm gonna regret the couple $1,000s I spent to stay in huts in the mountains of Austria, of Italy, in the Dolomites, in the Swiss Alps. I really don't think I'm gonna regret that. And if I do, it's a lesson learned. That is what life's about, experiences. And what can be more valuable to spend money on than alone time in nature, contemplation, and solitude, and a place divine? What could be more important than that? That isn't a good use of spending money, then I don't really know what is. And if you like my videos, time in the mountains means more alone time, which means more videos, which means more creativeness and more of doing something that I love, which is another reason I want to do it. City travel it's not the best. You spend a couple days somewhere bumming around in a city just to pack up again, get on a couple-hour train, and do it all over again. And I don't like to drink, and I don't like to party. And let's just say 22-year-olds in hostels like to do those things. So I'm not always surrounded by like-minded people. But I have met amazing people in hostels. And if you are watching this, you're one of those people, because no one knows about my YouTube channel and hostels that I didn't like. But yeah, expect more videos, especially in the mountains. Expect more structure to my videos, more application, because I know the last few videos have been more about me than a topic. But I mean, I think life is the best mentor, and I try to work through my problems on this channel, and I hope it helps you work through yours. And the lasting message I'll leave with you guys is just to spend money on learning lessons is always worth it. To follow your dreams is always worth it. To listen to your heart is always worth it. To trust yourself is always worth it. Because you will not learn lessons if you don't trust yourself. Because in the back of your head, you'll always cope. And you'll say, if I didn't trust David, I wouldn't have gotten to this situation. And then that mindset does not allow you to learn lessons. But if you trust yourself and you fail, if you trust yourself and you go astray, if you trust yourself in everything, you get lost, then you learn the lesson, because you have no one to blame. You can't say, you say, me, I did that. And then you learn the lessons the situation has offered you. And that is priceless. You either win or you fail, or you learn. You never lose unless you allow yourself. You never lose unless you don't get back up. So just get out there. Go learn through experience. This is something Leonardo da Vinci preached. Leonardo da Vinci was a learner through experience. And that is why he has a bunch of incomplete works, why he has massive failures in his life. But he had so much experience. He goes down as one of the greatest thinkers of all time, one of the greatest humans of all time, one of the most creative humans of all time, because he never trusted knowledge. Knowing was never enough for him. Acting was always the goal. So thing I always love to tell myself, and I'll probably make the title of this video this, and I'll end the video with this. Never make a decision solely based on money. Now, this obviously isn't universal advice. So if you made it to the end of the video and you want to drop a hate comment because, you know, I don't understand that the world revolves around money, please do. To be misunderstood is no better sign to me that I'm on the right path. But I just want you to realize that, yes, I do understand some decisions have to solely be based on money, but I don't believe that they should. And maybe they shouldn't, really. So, never make a decision solely based on money.